This is News Hour on Ifako Radio. Good morning, I'm Olanu Etiololade. The major headlines. APC, opposition, clash over FG's revenue growth claim. Non-oil revenue jumps 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, presidency. Japa, Libyan employer trapped me, drained my blood, rescued Nigerian migrants. Collecting transport fare for dates without showing up is punishable. Police warn women. Sports. FIFA approves free state stadium for Nigeria, South Africa clash. Entertainment. Big Three conversation needs terms inclusion. Tiwa Savage. News in detail. APC. Opposition. Clash over FG's revenue growth claim. The All Progressives Congress and opposition parties on Wednesday clashed over President Bola Tinubu's claim that Nigeria has already achieved its 2025 revenue target, while the APC insisted that the president had placed Nigeria on the path of economic recovery. The African Democratic Congress, Labour Party, New Nigeria People's Party, and the coalition of united political parties accused Tinubu of celebrating statistics while citizens struggle under severe economic hardship. Also, economists expressed skepticism about the president's assertion that the federal government had stopped borrowing locally, as they called for clarification from the managers of the economy. The experts pointed to the continuous debt market operations by the Debt Management Office and the Central Bank of Nigeria, questioning the president's assertion and its alignment with the current economic times. For years, Nigeria has depended heavily on crude oil, which accounts for about 70% of government revenue and over 90% of foreign exchange earnings. Successive administrations have repeatedly promised to diversify the economy, yet oil has remained the main source of revenue. In 2023, upon assuming office, President Tinubu launched a series of reforms aimed at repositioning the economy. Non-oil revenue jumps 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, presidency. The presidency has said Nigeria is firmly on track to meet its annual non-oil revenue targets. A statement signed on Wednesday by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, cited new figures showing a sharp rise in collections driven by fiscal reforms, tax compliance, and digitalized revenue systems. The statement was titled, Nigeria's Non-Oil Revenue Spur, Strongest Fiscal Performance in Recent History. According to data released for January to August 2025, non-oil revenues rose to 20.59 trillion naira, up 40.5% from the 14.6 trillion recorded during the same period in 2024. The presidency said this represents the strongest fiscal performance in Nigeria's recent history. Nigeria's fiscal foundations are being reshaped for the first time in decades. Oil is no longer the dominant driver of government revenues, said Onanuga. The presidency credited the increase to structural reforms, including improved enforcement, customs automation, and digital tax fillings, adding that the tax hike is to ensure these gains are felt in better schools, hospitals, roads, and jobs. Japa, Libyan employer trapped me, drained my blood, rescued Nigerian immigrants. A rescued Nigerian migrant, Mercy Olubenga, has recounted how she was confined for months and nurses repeatedly took her blood so it could be used for her employer's ailing mother while she lived in Libya. Speaking on the Arise TV Sunrise Daily program on Wednesday, Mercy said that she took a decision to travel to Libya after selling family property to pay for her sick mother's treatment. According to her, she had dropped out of school at the age of 20 years and was lured to Libya with the promise of greener pastures to enable her to raise money to care for her sick mother. Instead, she found herself trapped in modern-day slavery. My mother was sick. She had a kidney problem, so we had to sell all her properties, and there was nothing else. There is no family anywhere, she said. Describing the harsh treatment of African migrants by some Libyan employers, she said, what I experienced in Libya, not me alone, other African and other migrants, other illegal migrants, those people, they don't like us. Explaining further, she said, maybe they see us as rivals, or because they know wherever Nigerians are, they might take over, so they treat us like animals. Her worst ordeal, she said, came at the last place she worked, where she was locked in a room for a year. Mercy said she had originally been employed to care for the employer's mother and do house chores, but became trapped in an exploitative situation once the woman's medical needs emerged. They locked the door before going out. They locked the outside door. They locked the gate door, she said, describing how she was sealed in the house and prevented from leaving. Collecting transport fare for dates without showing up is punishable, police warned women. The Rivers State Police Command has warned against the rising trend of women collecting transport fare from men and failing to turn up for meetings, describing it as a criminal offense. The caution follows a viral video in which the police public relations officer, Grace Ifako, on Wednesday in a video on X, said the prices amounted to fraud and could attract punishment under the law. Why will you collect money from a man without going to see him? It is an offense, a punishable offense. It is obtaining money under false pretense, 419, she explained. Ifako stressed that such actions fall under the category of obtaining by false pretense, noting that offenders could be arrested and prosecuted if complaints are lodged with the police. She further urged members of the public to avoid deceitful financial dealings. EFCC arrests CEO for $2 billion failed investment scheme. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested the Chief Executive Officer of Gabis Logistics Limited, Amba Tochukwu, for allegedly defrauding investors of over $2 billion through a failed logistic investment scheme. In a statement on Wednesday, the EFCC said Tochukwu, through its program, lured investors with promise of a 50% return on investment in haulage, carrier, and e-commerce services. According to the Commission's spokesperson, Dele Oyewale, investigations revealed that more than 400 people invested in the scheme but have been unable to recover their funds. The EFCC added that Tochukwu absconded with the money in November 2024 before being tracked down and arrested. He is currently being interrogated over what the Commission described as a Ponzi scheme. The agency also warned Nigerians against falling for unverified investment platforms. 3 killed in Lagos Masquerader Festival clash. At least 3 persons were brutally murdered during a Masquerader festival that began on Sunday in the Lagos Highland area of Lagos State. While the exact cause of the killings remain unclear, reports indicated that some members of the family involved in the festival, who are also believed to belong to various cult groups in Lagos, hijacked the event and turned it into a supremacy battle. A resident of the community who craved anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the incident disclosed on Wednesday that the situation descended into chaos shortly after the festival ended. We had just finished the festival when a fight broke out among some boys suspected to be cultists, and before we knew it, they had started throwing bottles at one another, while also wielding some dangerous weapons. Nobody could even wait to calm the situation other than to run for cover, the resident narrated. Videos of the violence obtained on Wednesday showed heavy gunfire as suspected cultists chased one another along Lagos streets. In one of the clips, at least 5 gunshots were heard, with no fewer than 10 assailants were seen gang-beating a victim. Another resident, who identified himself simply as Kazim, said the clash lasted for hours, causing panic among residents. The fight started in the evening and continued till midnight. Some of us could not sleep due to the intensity of the violence and loud noise from their voices and the destruction, he said. Niger Confra, an account known for showcasing cult-related violence in Nigeria, further highlighted the chaos. Sports. FIFA approves Free State Stadium for Nigeria-South Africa clash. Ahead of the crucial World Cup qualifying fixture between the Super Eagles and the Bafana of South Africa next week, the Free State Stadium located in Bloemfontein has been cleared to host the clash by governing bodies FIFA and CAF. There had been uncertainty over which venue would host Bafana's World Cup qualifying matches at home, after concerns had been raised about the unsatisfactory pitch conditions at the Free State Stadium. However, a joint statement from FIFA and CAF eventually gave the arena the green light to stage the match, following further inspections by officials from both governing bodies. Considering the encouraging progress observed on the pitch, both organizations have agreed that the matches will proceed as originally scheduled at the Free State Stadium. The joint statement from FIFA and CAF read, following the development, Lesotho will host fellow South African neighbors at the venue on Friday, September 5th, as they have no FIFA standard-approved stadium in their country. Entertainment. Big Three conversation needs Thames inclusion. Tiwa Savage. Afrobeat singer Tiwa Savage has reignited a conversation in the Afrobeat industry by questioning the traditional Big Three narrative that exclusively recognizes Wizkid, Davido, and Burna Boy. According to Savage's recent interview, she said it's unfair to omit Tems from such discussion, given her impressive achievements, including a Grammy Award and a spot on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Tems has collaborated with major international artists and has been a driving force in Afrobeat's global popularity. I also feel like it's unfair to have that conversation about the Big Three and not mention someone like Tems, Tiwa said, calmly making a point while seated in a black leather jacket during the chat. Recap of the major headlines. APC, opposition, clash over FG's revenue growth claim. Non-oil revenue jumps 40% to 20.6 trillion naira presidency. Japa, Libyan employer trapped me, drained my blood, rescued Nigerian immigrants. Collecting transport fare for dates without showing up is punishable. Police warn women. Sports, FIFA approves free state stadium for Nigeria, South Africa clash. Entertainment, Big Three conversation needs Tems inclusion, Tiwa Savage. Follow us on all our social media handles. Facebook at Ifako Radio, X at Ifako Radio, YouTube at Ifako Radio, WhatsApp at Ifako Radio, Instagram at Ifako_radio. For news reporting, contact us at ifakoradio@gmail.com or call or WhatsApp 091 22 22 7433. Special thanks to the news producer Olaniweti Olusegun. Thanks for watching. I'm Olaniweti Ololade. Have a wonderful day. God bless Ifako Jai.
Looking for reliable brand for import and export, logistics and cargo services, ticket booking, or general merchandising? At Divine and Grace Enterprises, they specialize in seamless global trade, efficient cargo handling, top-notch travel support, and trusted merchant services. Whether it's getting your goods across borders, booking a flight, or managing cargo with precision, they deliver with speed, reliability, and care. You can visit them at Nako Export Warehouse, International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos State. You can contact them on 0803-406-1483, 0817-287-4375, or email it divineandgraceenterprises@gmail.com. Divine and Grace Enterprise, your reliable brand for logistics and merchandise.